Hello, and what a great day to sew something wonderful. I'm Kia with Kia B, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So this past year, I've really focused on using the NeedleworkPress Book of Days in my stitching. And what I've kind of chosen to do is kind of scrapbook my way through the Book of Days and just to log my stitching for the year, just kind of in a memory planning sort of way. Now, in my normal planning life, I actually don't memory plan. I functionally plan, and I just kind of keep all my planning stuff in this vintage suitcase that I have that I've redone the inside on. In this, I keep my daily planner, my school planner, my book of days, any planning accessories that I need or anything like that. So I thought today I would walk you through the planner and start off by showing you some supplies that I use on the regular for my book of days. So very first, I went to Joann's and just kind of pilfered through all of their supplies and scrapbooking things. And I was really drawn to the Tim Holtz sort of vintage, eclectic paper look. So in this little vintage tin here, if we open it up, I have lots of scraps and ephemera, chipboard pieces, things like that. And you'll see these used throughout my book of days the whole year. So I just kind of keep those in a little tin to the side. So I have lots to choose from. And then of course, you've probably seen this book 1,000 times. This is the Antiquarian sticker book. And I've chosen to use some stickers throughout the year from this book. They also have a new book that just released. And so I haven't picked up on that one yet, but that one is a little bit different, but the same kind of vibe. And so I use that throughout the year. Then just some really easy, everyday home things. I've got some highlighters, a pencil. I choose at the beginning of the year one pen to use in my planner for the year. And I love really fine tip pens. So for this year, I used this V5 fine tip, and I love it. I just really like a uniform look in my whole planner. And so finding one pen that I can kind of keep track in and use throughout the whole year is really helpful to me. Glue stick, and then I just have some cute paper clips and things like that. So let me scoot kind of all of this to the side and let's get in this. So this is a Needlework Enthusiast 2021 Book of Days. So let me show you. This is the 2022 Book of Days. I love it so much. Here's about how thin it is. So this is 2022. I've done nothing in it yet except for Steph just brought it to me over Thanksgiving break. And just kind of looking through the inside, it's very similar setup to 2021. So I'm very excited that I kind of know what I'll do with it a little bit. I'm gonna change some things up for this year, but that's basically what I'm gonna be looking at for 2022. Okay. So here we go, 2021. Here is the thickness. Now we are in December and I kind of have a lot of girth to this one now. Okay, so let's open it up. Some people chose to decorate this very front page. I didn't because I have so much decoration throughout the year. So January. So I actually did not get mine until midway through January. So that's why you kind of see nothing in this first part of the year, because I didn't get it until later on. But and I don't think on every single month I'll go through every sticker, but just kind of show you a layout of what I've got here. So this, I happen to get the opportunity to stitch butterfly cloche for Liz Matthews as her model stitcher. And so I went with a butterfly theme here and then included some cute little notes here and encouraging Liz. In the upcoming 2021 Needlework Expo, I offered to model stitch and she sent me butterfly cloche, which was 13,376 stitches to complete by mid-February. So I started it January 14th and then I finished it February 10th. So what I did is Liz included this really cute little card when she sent me the butterfly cloche pattern and threads and fabric. And so I glued that down as kind of a memory keepsake there. Used some butterfly stickers, I believe from Antiquarian sticker book. And then put a little hello from Liz Matthews sticker at the bottom. And that was January. So what I did here is I just kind of tracked my stitching each day. Not stitch count or anything like that, just what I stitched in that day. So here is February. Now, what I chose to do kind of throughout is cover up this sideboard here with just some scrapbook paper. Again, Tim Holtz. I just bought I think it was 8x8 scrapbook pad and cut it apart and used it throughout. So again, tracking different things throughout the year or throughout the month of what I stitched. So you see, I was fully focusing on butterfly cloche because that was quite a few stitches. And I got to finish it and mail the model. Then I worked on Coming to America for a few days. And down here, now you'll see lots of blank squares. I don't get to stitch every single day. We are a homeschool family, so I'm quite busy in our home, as so many of us are. And so I don't unfortunately get to stitch every single day, and you'll kind of see that pattern throughout. So without a friend, the world is but a wilderness, and I loved that. So I wanted to make sure and highlight that with a cute little sticker. All right. Then we have March of 21. Now I had fully intended, I covered up the word March here, but I had fully intended to actually come back and do some sort of thing to notate that this was March, but that did not happen, and that's okay. This is probably one of my favorite months that I was able to do in my book of days. I just thought the theme came together so well. I did a couple of different layering techniques and things like that. On this, you'll notice let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but this is raised with a couple of little foam stickers. Used different scrapbook die cuts, scrapbook paper, things like that. And then notated what I was working on every single day in in March. You'll see in my winter, spring months, as I'm sure so many of us do, I do a lot more stitching than in the summer. And this was my market orders for the month. So this is the 2021 needlework market. Actually, you know what? The needlework market in 2021 was canceled. So I believe this was Needlework Expo orders. And so I notated the charts that I got and the maker of those, the designer of those charts on this little tip out, which I thought was super cute. I love this like vintage pattern piece here. So I do a lot of die cutting, a lot of like fussy cutting of paper. Then we've got April of 2021. Again, very slow last half of the month, but I was able to notate the beginning of the month. This either meant that I didn't stitch or I didn't pull out my book of days to write it down, and I didn't have a picture of what I'd stitched that day to go back and write it down. That's a goal of mine for 2022, is to take a lot more pictures of my stitching, and that way I can go back and have those memories. I'd like to buy a photo printer, like a small little photo printer, so that I can incorporate photos of my stitching in my book of days. I just think that would take it to the next level. So there is April. Here's May. Now you'll notice that May is very, very blank. Our son had a pretty major surgery in May that we were not expecting, and it ended up putting him on bed rest for about 3 months. So that was in May. And so you'll notice that quite a lot of days are empty, and that's because towards the end of the month is when that happens. So the coming months, you'll see less and less stitching, but that's just because we had not planned for any of that. So we got to take a trip to Cincinnati. We took our kids to Great Wolf, and when we get to do that, I always get to have some best friend time with Steph and visit Keepsakes with my mom. And so we did that, and I worked there on that. And then of course, Mother's Day. Now June, again, my son was just coming home from the hospital at the beginning of June, so we had no stitching really. We were scheduled to go to weekend B of StitchCon, and we're not able to make it because of, just circumstances. So something that we did, which was really, really sweet, and I wrote this kind of journaling card about it, is that we came up with HomeCon. And so my mom and my dad were here. My dad actually had a heart attack in this second week of June. And so my son and my dad were kind of on bed rest together in our home. And so my mom and Nathan and I kind of came up with home con. I made t-shirts. We took a trip to the quilting store really quick and just kind of had a weekend of stitching during weekend B. And so I journaled about that here and just that, how much that meant to me to have that little memory with that. So I've notated some stitching there. July, not a ton of stitching. My birthday is in July, so I did get some good stitching there. Just that weekend and into the holiday. So not a ton of stitching. August, kind of picking up a little bit more. This is actually, July is when we start our homeschool year. And so we were well into the homeschool year in August. We were well into our new established routine. And so I actually got a good amount of stitching done for the time that I had. I don't notate, well, of course I wasn't starting anything new in 2021 unless it was previously allotted. And so I did get to do a new model for Liz. And so I notated that when I got to work on it, when I mailed it out, so I would have that memento. Again, this is all from either the antiquarian sticker book or supplies that I already had or a Tim Holtz kind of collection of things. September, super fun. Same kind of layout where I notated what I was stitching. I was trying to work on Coming to America a couple of times a month so I could really knock that out and finish that. So if you've watched our floss tubes, you know that I was really trying to get a finish on that this year. October, stitching picked up quite a bit more in October. And I was a part of Deck the Smalls, which is a fun little thing that Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch came up with. So I got to notate where I was working on that, and that was super fun. I loved that. I got to finish Coming to America, so that was kind of a big day here. I was really excited to do that. I got to go to Keepsakes. That was really exciting, and I got to take Coming to America to be framed. So that was really awesome. November, I didn't get to notate a lot. Now I know I stitched a lot more in November, but I didn't notate it. I need to be better in 2022 about pulling this out every day, if not every day, every other day, so that I can make a note. I got a little bit off track here in the last of the year, but had a lot of fun with this. Pam and Steph came to visit this weekend for Thanksgiving, and so that was a really fun week to kind of notate and decorate. Just full of memories. I just love that I have this now to like look back on. So I'm so glad I did this. Of course, this is December. This brings us up to date. Today is Friday, the 17th actually, so I haven't filled in anything of this week. This is a piece of wrapping paper that came with my Deck the Smalls from Kathleen from Situation Normal. So I fussy cut one of the Santas off because I just thought he was so adorable and put him in here. My goal is to definitely keep this as memory planning. So for 2022, I would really like to, again, get a small photo printer so that I can include some of my stitching photos in here, especially if I have a finish. And like I got to do a cookie exchange Sal with hands-on designs, and that was really fun. It would be great to have a little picture of that in there or print off some Instagram photos. And that brings us to the end of my 2021 book. So I'll finish out this month, hopefully filling that in. My goal is to get my 2022 book of days, the week between Christmas and New Year's. I'd like to go ahead and get the base set up. And what I mean by that is getting the parts covered up that I'd like to cover up and just kind of the scrapbook layout. Then I can come in and pull this out every day and write in, or every other day, write in my stitching and then put the small stickers in. So I come back and put these little small butterflies in, things that kind of tie the theme in more closely together. So that is my goal for that week, is to get this one all set up so it is ready to go. So that is my 2021 book of days. I had so much fun. I'm so glad that I have this as a memento to look back on my stitching for a whole entire year, and I'm so excited to just start my collection of these. So let me know if you did a 2021 book of days. If you plan on doing the 2022 book of days, I know so many shops still have these available. So get your order in. I've had so much fun and I love to have this and I love sharing it with you. So thank you for spending time with me while we did that. I hope you guys have a great day and thank you for watching.